get Phil up on the screen here. How are you doing this morning, afternoon?
Pretty good. It's cold here. It's just under 70 degrees.
You know what? Same, actually. For California standards, it's cold.
Yeah, well, at least it gets cold at night in California. It doesn't even get cold at night here until like winter, till like well, actually, no, this week it will. It'll get into the 50s
No, it's not bad.
finally. Getting there.
Actually, today's supposed to be the
What are we
warm.
doing?
I think the warmest day this week. So,
Mm,
a high of 74.
mm.
So, but
Well,
I was out in the walk. It was like about 40 something degrees, and I'm just out there like wearing like a tank top. Because I'm and walking the dogs, and they're like, "Aren't you cold?" I'm like, "No, this actually feels great."
no, not me.
No,
Not at all.
icicles will start forming.
Yeah, they might start forming. I can acclimatize actually pretty quickly, but no, I'm not that I can't do. I don't like to do. I'd rather it be warm. One thing nice about cold is you can always put more clothes on.
Yeah,
Well, to a point. There is a point. My
it's
sister-in-law
all
worked
about
in
the
Barrow, Alaska.
layers.
Yeah, so my sister-in-law worked as a school teacher in Barrow, Alaska for 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
It's the northernmost point of the U.S. It's one of the most northernmost cities in the world.
Oh
So,
wow,
yeah. It's like they just started their what is it, like 4 months of no sunlight
that sounds
part of the year.
awesome. Actually, that sounds awesome.
Yeah, it sounds awesome until you're a month into it and you realize you didn't buy one of those fancy lights that keep your mood up. Yeah, you gotta have those lights. Everybody that lives places like that have those full spectrum lights all over their house to keep them
Still,
from going crazy.
I I can live with that. That's
Yeah.
totally fine.
And you make sure you take high potency vitamin D, otherwise you get none.
Yeah, yeah.
All that good stuff. And so for today's thing we're talking about, I'm going to be honest. I didn't even know Google Meet had AI because I only use Google Meet if I absolutely have to.
Mm. Because
Like,
you have more familiarity with teams, correct?
well, I have used Teams. Now, I would say that like as far as Meet and Teams go, Teams is the easiest to fix audio on for all of them. Google doesn't have a audio fix. Google just either it is. It doesn't totally block out background noise and it doesn't totally block background noise. So it's basically okay for everybody, but not great for anybody.
Mm. So
Let's
wait,
put it that way, like
Teams has the better
Zoom does
audio?
all or yeah, Zoom does have it. The Zoom can turn on original audio. It's a very simple. It's like one click and boom, it just works. It's actually the best for it of all of them. Zoom is better quality, but a lot of times they like if you are a teacher trying to teach someone how to turn on original sound in Zoom can be a long process, especially if you're using a tablet. Zoom has made it difficult. They've made it a process. It has to be turned on every single time you use it. So things like that. There's certain things that are integrated into it, but are not easy to use
Mm.
because Zoom is not made for musicians.
Which one?
So Zoom, none
Actually,
of them are. No, none of them are. Zoom is actually kind of
I
okay
was gonna
for
say like it's
musicians.
better than the other platforms that are out there.
Oh yeah, it's the best of the major platforms.
Yeah.
So if you have a group of musicians, hopefully they all know how to turn on the original sound and how far to go with that because there are lots of options in that original sound. And for anyone that doesn't know what that does, so I'm going to
Well,
play
maybe
like
we
a
should
scale mark.
introduce ourselves.
Oh, okay. My name is,
And
I'm going
bam,
to,
right to
yes, my name is Inigo Montoya
it's
and your name is,
I have no idea anymore.
Buttercup.
Like Buttercup, Princess Bride, of course. Da da da. Um, Hi guys, I
Now
am
she doesn't know
Rosita
her
Ruiz
real name.
and stunned. Uh, and yeah, and he is the Montoya.
Yeah, Inigo Montoya. Yeah, exactly.
He
I do
definitely looks
not
like a
have thick
Montoya,
fingers.
right?
Yeah.
Speaking coffee, I
I
will.
actually am left-handed though, by the way, for any of you that do know the movie.
Oh yeah, he is. He was left-handed. Hold
Yeah,
on, I'll be
I'm
right back. I
truly
just need to grab my
left-handed.
coffee.
Okay. Okay, she's going to
We're
grab her
at
coffee and
cafe.
yeah. We will be back after a short something.
As you can see that I
Commercial
still have
break.
stuff
A
behind
short
me.
commercial break. A short-
Okay,
And since we have no backers yet, so there are no commercials.
right. Well, actually, no. If you're watching on Twitch, sorry.
There probably are. Yeah, there probably are some commercials like right in the middle.
Mm.
If you're
And also
watching
YouTube.
if you're watching a replay on YouTube, then yes,
So,
they
yeah.
won't just throw it in there.
All right. So
Hmm.
today, wait, where's my thing? I had my thing, and then it disappeared on me. Okay, yeah, here we go. So today we're going to be talking about AI integrations in uh, Google Meet versus
Hmm.
Zoom. And for those that are unfamiliar, so the reason why I put Google Meet and Zoom because those are the two most popular ones when it comes to education.
Hmm.
At least, um, at least based like on my observance. I know there are educators who use Teams and blanking out. What was the other one?
Meet, Teams, Zoom. There are others, but I don't know anyone using them. I mean, Skype is basically
Skype
Teams
is dead.
now.
Sorry, Skype.
Yeah,
I
well, I
wish
mean,
for you guys to come
it,
back.
yeah. Well, I will say for audio quality, Skype was the easiest. You didn't have to do anything. It just worked.
Yeah.
It's kind of like what Google does now.
Mm-hmm. Well,
But
Skype
yeah.
honestly was advanced for the time that when it came out.
Hmm.
So, and
It was.
and I'm sure like you guys, for those that have experience in online teaching or online tutoring, you know which platform offers for those that are into AI. Which platform offers the best AI tools for educators and business professionals?
Hmm.
So,
And
okay,
like I said
continue
at the
on.
beginning, I don't know anything about Google Meets AI because I only use it when I absolutely have to. It comes down to like the audio quality on it. Zoom has better audio quality. And when I'm not using, if I can, I actually use Rock Out Loud. Totally different. For anyone who is a music teacher, highly recommend it. Highly, highly, highly. It's $10 a month, so $120 a year. It's cheaper than Zoom. Yes, I still pay for Zoom, but
Wait, which one?
absolutely worth it. It's Rock Out Loud.
Oh yeah, yeah, the one that we were testing out the other day.
Yeah, yeah, Rock Out Loud. They've been around for a few years. I just hadn't used them. I've been using other programs that were similar and free, but a lot of these programs have said, but we want money too. And I just said, well, Rock Out Loud's been around longer. They're only charging $10 a month. You don't have to worry about audio quality. So if you're a teacher and you have students who just cannot figure out how to turn on original sound on Zoom, or you're teaching a 6-year old and you're trying to tell them to turn the original sound on, and you know that's not going to happen. Once you get into Rock Out Loud, it's easy. Another really great thing about using something like that is, when you're in Zoom with a student and all of a sudden they have a background on and they have an avatar on and they're hitting all the buttons that do all the things that they can possibly do that are allowed for them at that time. Google Meet, same thing. In something like Rock Out Loud, those options are not available to them.
Hey, Phil, I don't know if it's like coming on your end, but every time you're
Mm,
speaking, there's
issue.
a
Okay,
little bit
hold
of an
on.
issue.
I
Yeah.
know. I already
Yes,
know
there's
what
no
it. I already
delay or
know what the
anything.
sound
It's
is.
just it's like there's like a little bit of like
Cracking.
static or
Yep,
crackles.
yep. Hold on. Let me try something because I'm working with this. I may have to change my Focusrite out this week. Hold on.
Oh, and then you also have to
Okay.
tell us about your new computer.
Well, well, I have some stories about that. It's good and bad, but oops, that's okay. New computers also use Wi-Fi 7, so which requires an extra antenna to work well
Okay, that
because
sounds
it's
significantly better.
yeah, it has. Oh, it is already. Um, oh, good, it's not the Focusrite. It's my cheap crappy cable. No, you're not a cheap crappy cable. You're just old. Cables are like that. I just know from being like semi-traveling like pop rock musician that
Oh, yep,
like when you
it
like
came back.
it came back when you buy cables, they have to be better quality.
Hmm.
You can't just buy crappy cables.
It's a
I
good
won't be buying any
investment,
cables.
honestly, when it comes to cables, because they can wear out over
Most of the time,
time.
if you're just sitting there doing nothing, they shouldn't wear out, but you don't know what sits on them or what
If it gets
animal chews on them or
tangled or
yeah, let me unplug it
yanked.
and plug it in one more time.
Okay, so as he is doing that, um,
Okay, I might even exchange one of my cables while Rosita talks if it's still not still doing it. Is it still doing it?
yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
While you talk, I'm gonna change some cables
I
out.
got you.
I may make some extra noise and all that
But no, this
good
is a
stuff,
great way.
but
This is. I'm glad this is happening to you because it actually helps. And well, I do, and I'm glad and not glad. But I'm glad that this is happening live because you guys can experience what can happen when teaching online, and you guys learn, how to troubleshoot. So, okay. Well, even though we're talking, I know Phil hasn't really worked on Google Meets, but both platforms really have stepped up their game with AI to make virtual meetings more productive, accessible, and interactive. But they do take a slightly different approach. So I'm going to help break it down and help you decide which one might work best for you. Now, I have tried for about 8 months last year when I was tutoring to use Google Classroom to teach, which incorporates Google Meets. But I always keep, at least for my preferences, I keep going back to Zoom as I find it more interactive. But like I said, let's break this down. So Google Meet. Google Meet has integrated its AI platform known as Duet AI. Does it sing? Is it good harmony? To some. Now, I know that was cheesy, but to make meetings smoother but the Duet AI, it does make things a little bit smoother and more collaborative. And these features can include like real-time transcription, which definitely helps. Say you're teaching ESL and you have a non-speaker, they can actually transcribe in different languages, and which I think is honestly a fantastic way. It's such a game changer, especially when it comes to online education and teaching online. And being in a virtual classroom with students who speak different languages and using a platform that doesn't offer that feature, again, that will have to go towards the teacher's skills and how to communicate with non-native English speakers.
true.
Sorry.
All right, now let's see what's going on. Am I still doing it? Because this tells me whether it's cable or Focusrite.
You sound a lot better. I
A lot better.
cut yeah.
Okay.
I'll let you know as you keep
If
talking.
it does it even once, tell me because I would love for it to be a cable. And I
It's
mean, although, I mean, yes, I love the idea of my Focusrite third generation being bad and going, dang, I could use one of my other ones that is sitting in a box, but no, I need to upgrade to the fourth generation one. You know,
well,
especially after spending all the
congratulations.
money I did on the
You can
computer.
upgrade. I think it was the cable.
It was the cable.
It was the cable.
Okay. Okay. I loved it. I liked it. I'll just upgrade, get a new cable for now that cable is just plugged into my mic that is for the piano. And generally I don't need it. It just goes digital anyway. So
Mm. There
cool.
you go. Yeah.
Good to
Ta-da!
know.
So when in doubt, always check your cable. Actually, I think that's really the first thing
Yes.
we should check.
You know, and it's funny. It's like one of those, do you buy really good cables or do you buy cheap ones and replace them? Now, here's the story on that.
Ooh, sorry,
You
Sam.
want like, what is it, like Mogami cables, I think, like 70, $80 for one cable. Or do you buy an Amazon Basics cable for 15 bucks? You know my answer to that is I'm gonna buy like five Amazon cables before I buy one expensive cable
Which,
ever.
to be fair, they are decent
Yeah,
cables.
for about 1 year.
What?
If you use them 8 hours a day like I do,
Mm.
they're good for about a year. They now these I say a year. These actually have what lasted years. I will admit the
I
XLR
was gonna say
cables,
mine.
these are good.
I'm here at least 6 to 8 hours,
Yeah.
and I've had mine like for 2 years.
I will say though their USB cables are good. Just don't buy them for anything that's like constant, really high-end use. But at the same time, I still do if I can, or I buy low-end cables because my USB cables, I don't have a real. If I try to go to really high-end brands, I find that they don't have the cables I need
Mm.
because what they're thinking is well these cables are more likely to fail, so we're not going to make them yet. Like Anchor, I can't buy an Anchor cable that I need yet because they just aren't available for
Yet.
good reason because they know that they're going to go bad.
Mm. I also sorry. I'm pro anchor here.
Yeah, I love
Half
my Anchor
my
cables.
half my things right now like these AirPods are anchor.
Oh, yeah, they're
My
awesome.
charging block, my USB port is anchor.
Yeah. And anyone that doesn't know, Anchor even started making webcams. And I was like, wait, they started making a webcam and they
That's right.
started at high end. They didn't even go to what Logitech and Razer has. They're like, nah, we're not doing that. We're only going to go like on the, like even Insta 360 or whatever. They're basically instant, they're immediately trying to compete with all of those brands. And I was like, good for you. You're probably going to fail, but good for you.
Hey, you know what? We always start with, the failures and you learn from them.
Yeah.
That's how they learn how to develop a better project. Don't worry, Anchor.
Yeah.
I got your back.
Yeah. Oh, I think they're awesome. And I would even test it. I mean, it got really great
They're
reviews.
fantastic.
Like
I've been
the
using
Insta
them for
360
years.
still always gets rated as number one. They can't seem to, even can't seem to touch them.
Yeah, most of my charging cables are Anchor.
Yeah.
And it's either Anchor or Amazon Basics. Those
Yeah.
are the two that I have. And then, oh, also, even though it's not part of our topic today, please know the difference between a charging cable and a data cable.
Yeah. Now, when
Sorry.
USB cables, they can be the same. So,
Yeah.
so here's the thing. I did buy some USB-C to USB-C cables because I have more USB-C ports on my new computer. For my cameras. So they are charging cables, but they are also data cables. I bought some 20 gigabyte data cables that are labeled as charging cables. The reason they get labeled as that is because that's what most people are buying them for. Just make sure that when you buy something that it gives you at least a transfer rate when you're buying a USB cable. Because a
Yeah.
lot of times you don't realize it says, well, it just says USB 3 and I'm only using a 4K camera. Then all of a sudden you can't transmit in 4K because your USB 3.0 can't do 4K. Not well.
Yeah, and also too, like if you have like a Seagate hard drive, like I have a 5 terabyte Seagate, I have to be careful which cable I use to
Yeah, yeah.
transfer, the information from my computer to the hard drive.
Yeah, and I have a Western Digital one. Buying it before I realized that it uses a proprietary cable to plug into USB, and I was like, really? Really? I mean, seriously.
Okay, so kind of getting back.
What I get? What I
Yeah.
get for buying that?
We would think, yeah,
Ah,
yeah. But it is important information nonetheless. But yeah, so and Zoom has this. Of
yeah.
course, they just go by different names. This is still AI
Mm,
regardless. So, real time transcriptions and translations, if you're teaching non native English speaker, again, it's such a game changer. And
mm,
also, if as a business professional, if you're having meetings and you're trying to expand your business into international waters, that's also going to be beneficial. Now, will the translation be accurate?
well, it's better than not
This
having one.
certain platforms are better
Well,
than
maybe.
others. With that said, they'll still get the generic idea, but you definitely want to elaborate more in detail as you're conducting the meeting and or the class, so everyone's on page.
Mm.
Now,
I have a question for you, Rosita,
yes.
as the language person. Do you think Google or Zoom does it better? Or no opinion?
Right now, when it comes to the translation, they are about the same.
Okay.
Um, and only by a slight margin, but again, it's not much. Zoom is, if I had slightly better, but
Okay.
they're about the same.
Okay.
They're about the same. And then I'll give you guys some tips on like what I do, but we'll discuss that in a second. And
Mm.
then also with Google Meets, again Zoom does this, meeting recaps. With that said,
Mm.
please check those meeting recaps. Um, so with a Duet AI, you can get a summary of what happened in the meeting, which is great for students who don't know how to take notes correctly or have like any difficulties or any disabilities and where they can't take their own notes. By implementing Duet AI, you can have that meeting recap. And it's super handy
Yeah.
if you're juggling multiple sessions. OMG. Um, and then, of course, like with Google Meet, you do have like AI enhanced virtual backgrounds, you do have noise cancellation. So, if you are an online tutor or an online coach, if you have a dog barking during a lesson or a messy room that you didn't want students to see, well, you can see how these features can be valuable. You can always do that noise cancellation. They have like different levels. I think it's just really two. Um, and then you can just change your background. Now, of course, a lot of this you can find in Zoom.
Yeah.
And, but
Zoom actually does it pretty well as well. They both do it pretty well. Now, if any of you really have to kill background noise,
mhm.
and you say you're in a really noisy place, my suggestion, and I just drew a total blank on the name of the software. It was in my head and I was going to say it. Oh my God, what is it called? There's a separate software, and I'm going to remember it in just a little bit. If I don't, I'll just look it up. That will do that for you. And basically, like if somebody comes up behind you and blares a trumpet at you, the other people on the other end, all they'll say is they won't hear anything, but they will still hear your voice clearly. It's pretty amazing. Uh, it starts with an S, I think. Crisp. It does not start with an S. That's why I didn't get it. Crisp.
Sorry for
I knew it had an
laughing.
S in it somewhere. There was an S in there somewhere.
Somewhere.
Okay, Chris is amazing. I actually had a student that was using it, like years ago, and this is before Zoom did a good job at this already. And I remember he would start playing his piano, and I heard absolutely nothing. It was amazing. I heard his voice completely clearly with everything else in the background. And he said, "Oh, I'm sorry, I got to turn Crisp off," because he would have meetings on Zoom in a coffee shop. He would just go to a coffee shop, sit there comfortably, have his business meetings, and turn on a different background or sit against a wall and put his Bluetooth earbuds in, and nobody would hear anything. They would have no clue that he was not in his office.
Wow.
It was
Not even the
pretty amazing.
background?
No background. No, well, how would there? He might have changed his background. I don't know.
Mm.
I mean, but even then, if he sat in the right place, I mean, they're not really going to care or
Yeah.
even notice. They might think, "Oh, you have an interesting apartment." Like if you don't see people, like if you sit against a wall, they're not going to see people.
Hmm.
It was pretty cool how much it worked, how well it worked, and they do have a free version of Crisp, Krisp. By the way, for everyone, yeah,
That's pretty
it's
cool. Crisp. I'm
phenomenal.
actually gonna write that down. So even though, like personally, I don't have an issues because most of my meetings outside with a particular company, are on all Zoom,
Hmm.
and I
Oh,
believe
and
that
they
Zoom
do
has a better
transcriptions as
filter
well.
when it comes to background noises, and I think it's
Yeah.
especially when you're giving singing lessons, um, which there is a learning curve
Yeah,
when
I
teaching
have to tell
singing.
all my singing students no background noise removal because as soon as they hit a note, soon as their voice goes above a certain note, totally blanks their voice.
Yeah.
Can't hear anything.
Yeah, do not do
You
like
have to turn
automatic
it
when you're
all
taking
off.
sing lessons. Don't do auto or anything like that.
Yeah.
So there is a way though. I have to actually do it.
Uh,
Um, but you can start with like low cancellation and then pull the input noise,
you might
adjust
still
it.
have that on your Apple, but
No,
Zoom
I'm
took
talking about
that
the Zoom
away.
audio settings. I'm not talking about my
Yeah, Zoom
computer.
took that away years ago. So you can, on some computers, still have old versions. But I'm looking at mine right now. It's not an option. Not
Really?
even like, no, oh, I see. They did add personalized. Okay. If I
Yes.
do personalized, I see what you're saying. So that was the new that I know what happened is they took it out and people complained that they couldn't control it.
Well, there was also another way of doing that. So,
Oh.
excuse me. If you put like original sound for musicians, and if you uncheck, I think it was choto. Um,
Basically, I check high fidelity music mode
I
and
can't do it
echo
anymore because they fixed
cancellation.
the problem. But what
Yeah.
I ended up having to do is I was able to drag the input volume, so I'll be able
Mm,
to hear my students to sing those higher notes.
right.
So,
Well, since I only teach out of my studio, I only do the original sound. I don't ever use personalized isolation.
yeah, I've never
Because
actually
as
used
long as I
personalized audio
do,
isolations, because I never needed to, because my
yeah.
headphones was able to block out all like the noise if there was any noise at all.
Hmm. Yeah.
So I think it
Yeah, there's no
was.
option in original sound to change I mean, you can check or uncheck things. I always tell people don't check stereo audio because because you're not going to hear it in stereo anyway. You've got one microphone
Yeah, the only time I think you really want stereo audio is like when you actually are like gonna say you're recording something using the
in
Zoom
stereo.
platform. So, but if
Yeah.
you're just taking a class, it's not necessary.
Yeah. Well, even then, if you're using one microphone, it's mono. It doesn't matter what you think you're doing. One microphone. That's what mono means. One microphone.
Yeah.
You have to have two microphones to do stereo. I can with this. I do have two microphones, but I don't utilize them both for my
It's like if they
voice.
say like you're singing and playing at the same time
Yeah.
during that
Yeah,
recording
yeah. And if
session
you want to separate it, and
or live
especially
concerts.
like
There you go.
separate it out, yeah, it's good to do that. Exactly.
Yeah.
So,
But yeah, so AI in Zoom. as
Yeah, and that's part of the AI, and they're actually incorporating, like I was talking about Crisp, their noise cancellation, they're calling that AI noise cancellation now. Um, so it's getting smarter. So even though it already did a good job,
mhm.
it's doing an even better job by like trying to learn your voice specifically so that it cancels everything else out. So that
That's
cancels out other people's voices,
need to check out
which
the
is
crisp.
pretty amazing because I don't think it's because I mean Google and Zoom don't necessarily cancel other people's voices out if they're
Mhm.
just talking, but I think Crisp can. No, it's something like what is it? I was just looking at it, $8 a month if you pay up for a year, which still gets expensive for something that's just for your audio. But if you're doing a lot of stuff where you need to do that kind of thing, it can be useful.
Yeah, yeah. It's more like an a convenience factor. It's like an added thing that if
Hmm.
you're at that scale, then it's something that maybe to consider it, but it's not like an absolute need.
Yeah, and
So,
you can try it for free. It actually has a free version. Yeah, for 60 minutes a day that you
that's
can
cool.
use it, which is actually a lot for free.
All right, let's talk about Zoom. Okay. Okay.
Okie dokie,
Okay.
Zoom.
All right. So, this is one of the main reasons I personally prefer Zoom in both business and in
Mhm.
teaching. Okay. So, the AI features, it's not only about like meeting recaps and stuff like that. It's about productivity and organization, and this helps my younger students as well. And oh my
Mhm.
gosh, especially when it comes to like, so I have this particular student who's learning Japanese, and he does have a difficult time of, being engaged or being consistent when it comes to studying. And when I utilize some of these AI features, even though he was doing well, his improvement skyrocketed. Like,
Mhm.
oh my gosh. Okay, so their AI companion, that's what they're calling their thing, AI companion and AI assistant, but they're two different things, but I'll get to it.
Mhm.
So their AI companion can summarize meetings similarly to Google, create action items. Okay, so during our lectures, right, or during my lecture or during the class, I'll talk about like their homework, what they need to do, things that they can do. And automatically, when I use the AI assistant, it turns these notes, these transcripts, and puts those action things that they need to do and into
Mhm.
like checklist as well, which makes it easier. And then also, and just like with Google, it does provide real time translation. Again, they're about the same when it comes to translations. So,
Mhm.
depending on like the language that they're speaking, I do use Chat GPT to help me make it a little bit more um e- what's that word I'm thinking for? A little bit more close
Right.
to their native language,
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
break it down like an outline into their language. And but oh my god. So, okay, after the class or after a meeting, like I mentioned, we can take that transcript and turn it into templates or checklists
Mhm.
or even trackers, which we know it's important to do. Well, having those checklists to do action items. And we also need to have trackers so we can track their improvement, or track the areas that they're not doing so well, or the areas that they are. And Zoom can definitely help with that. And it's such a time saver. It's
Mhm.
fantastic. It's okay. So it
Yeah, because
ensures
otherwise the student doesn't even remember anything that happened. You have no idea what you taught them either, maybe, and so it helps keep
it's
both of them on track.
there.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, you can record your lessons on Zoom, just like with
Mm.
Google Meet, but they can follow along the keynotes when they rewatch the class or rewatch the
Right,
class.
right.
So
And is a student really going to watch the recording anyway, especially if they don't have anything to help, like, especially at certain ages, are they really going to rewatch the recording of the lesson?
depending on the
They
age,
might.
depending on
It
the age, I have
depends.
a couple
Yeah,
that
they
actually
might.
do.
Yeah.
Um, but and one thing that I do like Zoom that's not AI related, or yeah, one of the other reasons I prefer Zoom in contrast to Google Meets that is not AI related, is that with Zoom, it not only gives you a video recording, it also gives you an audio. So again, if
Yeah.
you are a singing coach or a piano teacher and you're having to do these exercises, they can just put their headphones on without watching the video and still practice to what you're teaching them.
Yeah. And one thing I would suggest
Yes.
for music teachers, because I do this sometimes, is you can do cloud recording, but you only have like 2 gigs, which is basically nothing.
Oh, for the
Um,
Google or
yeah,
for
no, no, not for Zoom. Sorry, for Zoom recordings.
oh
So yeah, you only get 2 gigs of total. Like then you're like Google. I've got a
oh yeah,
hundred gigs,
their
and I
cloud
pay.
account. Yes.
Yeah, I pay like the extra $5 a year or whatever it is, $15 a year to get 100 gigs on Google, which I feel like I won't run out, but I probably will soon. So, but with Zoom, what I do is if they want a recording, I allow I there's just a couple buttons you click and it allows them to record. And I'm like, you hit the record button, it goes on your computer,
Yeah, if you go
and then they can
to
listen to that.
like if you click participants and you click you find this option as more, you click that down arrow and then you can
Like allow to
like
record or
yeah, click
something like that.
allow to
Whatever.
record and the client or the student can record their lesson and it will download onto their computer and they can save
Yeah.
it into whatever file that they want to save it into.
Yeah, I feel like that, and that works well because then they have it immediately.
Mhm.
You don't have to send it to them. You don't have to take up space on I mean, Rosita said she's got 5 gigs. I've got a 3 gig external hard drive. I'm not running out of space anytime soon with this stuff. Yeah, terabyte, not gigabyte,
I
terabyte. I'm like 3 gigabyte. That would hold like one lesson. 3 terabyte.
Real
One lesson.
how long is
So
that
like
lesson?
how old am I that I'm still saying gigabyte? I have a 64 kilobyte computer. Like what I grew up with is that we're not running out of space. It's just that way they have it now on their computer that they don't have to wait for you to upload it to your Google account and send it to them or whatever.
God, I
So
remember how
that's
like
all.
it was like everyone had like 120 microbyte like to put like their
So I
documents and stuff.
So growing up, our first computer, we had like an old like IBM computer. Like I think no, yeah, like an old IBM computer. It was my dad's. Then we had a VIC 20 for like about a week, and my dad said it's not powerful enough. I was like 5 or 6, and then a Commodore 64. No, I was 7 or 8 when he got the Commodore 64, which was at that time one of the most powerful home computers you could buy. Yes, Commodore was, not Apple and not IBM. Like Commodore was like the high end thing. They went out of business when they tried to get in the game market. They just killed themselves, like in the 80s. But yeah, so that was kilobytes. Anyone that doesn't know what that is
Oh,
compared to the
what's it called?
terabytes that we look at now.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
You know, it's again, it's amazing how technology evolves.
Oh, I know. And the amazes to
It's really
me
mind blowing,
too.
like where we started, and then coming now where we have like AI and faster processors and stuff.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like the new computer, it's got a 1 terabyte. Although it's funny because computer companies, they won't use the term terabyte. They use thousands of gigabytes now. It's like they're scared to change it because they think somebody's gonna look at TB and go, "That's all you're gonna give me is one." But if it says 1,000, I mean, it's a very marketing type of
Yeah.
way of labeling things. So, yeah. My external though, when I look on my computer, it says three TB, or it says 2.72 TB actually, because three doesn't equal three. It's computer math.
Yeah. I hate math. Okay.
It never did. It's so
Like,
weird.
but no,
Hate it.
it is very important to realize that, especially like say that you're building your computer.
Hmm.
Yeah.
And don't call the company and be like, I paid for 3,000 gigabytes and all I got's 2,700. You know, just I'm gonna be blunt as an ex-computer person. Get over it. That's the way computer math works.
Yeah.
Just get over it. It's gonna be that way. You've got plenty.
So in
Yeah.
continuation with, so I mentioned about like how it's good for productivity and organization. This is where like Zoom really does shine. So they just recently introduced the AI driven document tools.
Mm.
So after a meeting, Zoom takes the transcripts and then put it into those templates. It can transform into checklists. It can transform that transcript into trackers. So we don't do it. I didn't know
Mm.
like if I was able to convey that clearly. That's why I was saying that it's so time efficient for us
Mm.
educators to, well, rather than writing online or creating like in a Google Doc or a Word doc, um it does it for you.
Yeah, and cost effectiveness of it. Um, Google's is what, $30 a month, um, for Google Duet, and then something like that. I think I'd have to look that up. I
Do
think
it
that was
me.
right, but I'm not
No,
sure.
do it AI.
Duet AI,
Mm-hmm.
to have their add-on of all their AI tools, where Zoom is $150 a month, which is the cost of having Zoom Pro. That's it.
Wait,
It's just
$150 a month or $150 a year?
yes, the second one, the latter.
We do not
You mean you're
spend
not paying
$150
$150
a
a
month.
month?
Love Zoom, but
It
I won't do
it
that.
better like do some of my lessons for me at
Like,
that price.
actually, even still, nope. So the key difference is the reason why we're talking about like the comparisons of the AI integration of these two platforms is, what do you need more, right? So Google Meets AI honestly is more focused on the real-time collaboration,
Mm.
okay? With the features like the transcription, the translation, and the noise cancellation. I so I can understand like the appeal of using Google Meets for meeting. Like I said, I work with a company that all their meetings is through Google Meets.
Mm.
And so that's why really, even though I tried to, as for Google Classroom last year, and then being on meetings using that platform really taught me like what are the things that I can do both as a host and as a participant. And versus Zoom, because I've been also like a lot of participating in a lot of Zoom workshops as of late. I'm working at not only just as a host, but also again as a participant. So one of the biggest things, the biggest differences between the two, again, Google Meet is more in real time collaboration, whereas Zoom, honestly, it leans more onto the productivity and the organization. offering tools to create documents, summarize meetings, um, generating actionable insights, which if you're managing whether it be complex projects or teaching
Hmm.
a class, which is a combination of all three, that's why I prefer Zoom over Google Meets. So it
Yeah.
really depends on what you want. What do you value most in the platform?
And so I'm going to come from the side of a piano teacher for a second here too, is for those of you who are piano teachers or instrumentalist teachers, because singing can be a little different. I feel like singing, the AI tools are more useful. For instruments, I have used the AI tools. I'm going to be very blunt. They aren't good and they're almost totally useless. The main reason is they don't know how to interpret just sound that they hear. So it gets very confused. It possibly will get better soon. I don't expect it to in the next year or two, though. So it depends on what you need out of it. It will still give you some basic ideas of what happened during the lesson. So if you're a music teacher, I suggest testing these things out, see if it works for you. Figure out. This is kind of what Rosita is saying. Is like, what is it you need from your teaching? Like, what is going to help you the most? So for me as a piano teacher is being able to hear the student's piano. Number one, that's my number one concern over absolutely everything else. And then the tools that will help me to help them. So even if Zoom or Google's AIs don't help you, there are other AIs out there or being developed
Wait,
that are
where are you,
helpful.
Phil?
What?
I noticed that you're missing.
I'm missing?
Oh, there you are.
Am I gone? Did I
There you
disappear?
go.
Oh, I wasn't in there. I wasn't even looking. I totally like just I didn't even have it up on the screen anymore. That's kind of funny. Oh well. And somehow I lost it. I just went
How
back into
long were
Facebook and
you
it's like
gone?
I just went back into Facebook and it's completely
Yeah, you've been.
like it was out. Somehow it just like disappeared. Yeah, I noticed. Yeah, I'm gonna it's
Yeah,
been
you
you
were
the whole
there
time.
until like.
I didn't do anything. Yeah, let's
That's so
see.
weird. Oh, yeah. So about 10 minutes in, you disappeared.
Uh, oh well, I ghosted
But
you.
we fixed you.
Anyway, you could hear me and you could just see Rosita the whole time. So anyway, with these things, just know there are AI like features or just software features out there and programs that can help you. There was one that you sent one to me, Rosita, not too long ago, and I've totally forgot what it was. It was some sort of thing that helps organize you as a teacher. I'll have to look for it later. It is obviously not that important because I can't find it because we message each other too much now, and I can't find it.
Oh
It's
no.
true.
We're
Where
messaging
is
each other
it?
so much. It's not like we're running a business.
I know. I can't find it. Oh well.
Communication is very important
It
when owning a
was
business.
it's in there. It wasn't something that was going to be useful to me, but I was keeping it on the back burner to use as something to recommend to people. But like what it is
Oh,
there are
now I
sites out
understand
there.
why you went away. Zoom, you are silly. You are a silly, goofy goober.
Oh, because it couldn't hear me for a second and it said me I was
No.
talking now.
Here, I'm fixing you again.
Oh, I see that.
Because on the Zoom, okay, so this is actually something that I should probably potentially as a feedback for Zoom because I was looking at the participants to explain how the student can enable their recording. So I clicked on the thing and it opened that window, moving
Yeah.
your video window on the meeting. Because just let you guys
Yeah.
know that
Yeah.
right now we're using Zoom and OBS. I am sharing the Zoom window. So you can see us at the same time. Even though Zoom does have a live option to it, so you can, but since I am streaming this on different platforms, it is easier to just share the Zoom screen.
Hmm.
Uh so and yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. So that's how we're doing this. So
I was
that's
curious what
something I need to consider
the
in the future.
Facebook delay was, so I just kind of counted it. It's like 6 or 7 seconds. Curious. Oh,
Okay.
it always is. There's always a delay. There's supposed to
Always.
be. I mean, I don't know. For the person in the background, just in case one of us starts cursing up a storm. I'm kidding.
Oh
That's not
dear
gonna happen.
Lord.
Don't worry.
That
They
okay.
used to do that in live TV.
Yeah.
Used to have a person actually waiting, and if somebody started saying something they shouldn't, they had a button to hit that would just immediately like mute them or go straight to commercial or something, which is kind of funny. So anyway, I
Yeah.
was saying that
Sorry.
like that just know what you want out of your meeting. What is going to be the most helpful to you? If you are writing a ton and ton and ton of notes after to send to the students, you might need to check out the AI. See if it can help you to be more efficient with your time. With that,
Yeah.
that will
Actually, that's a
help you so
great
much.
point.
Yeah, because you really shouldn't be using the same amount of time that you're in a lesson outside of a lesson on a student.
Mm-hmm.
You really shouldn't. You need to be utilizing that time for other students or for your own stuff or bettering your business in
Especially
some way.
when especially when owning a tutoring business and you have multiple students. I mean, we have to think of time management
Hmm. Right.
and to keep
Yeah,
things
if you are,
smooth and not adding stress to you.
yeah, because if you're spending 20 hours a week with students, you shouldn't be spending 20 hours a week on those students' things. Like I tell piano teachers even, and I know a lot of piano teachers feel like, but my student is learning the Waldstein's piano sonata, so I need to learn it. I'm like, no, you don't. Why do you need to learn it? You have that has nothing to do with you. They're learning the song, the piece. You don't have to play it for them to learn it, right? So you just need to be there to help them along with the learning process.
Mm-hmm.
You don't need to show them how to play it. It of course you need to be able to demonstrate certain things, but you don't need to be able to sit down and play the whole thing, even up to tempo at all. It's not about that.
Yeah. Um,
Um,
so just to kind of like recap is excuse me. Sorry, I'm also moderating our Twitch as well. So if you guys hear me clicking or or typing, please know that I'm just taking care of the different platforms at the same time.
I promise next time I'm gonna re-sign into my Twitch if it hasn't been like deleted already and log into it and
I'm
watch it
actually
on
going to
there.
probably add you as a moderator.
Yeah, I have to like actually,
So,
re-up my Twitch thing. I mean, I logged into Twitch one time, created something, watched one thing, and said, nope, not for me.
but yeah, so when it comes to choosing the right platform is, again, like what Phil said, think of what you need. And so think about your audience, right? Whether it be for multilingual classrooms or global teams, Google Meets, might be a must, might be a better option for you. Also, you want to evaluate your workflow. So, like Phil said, if you don't say you have 20 students, we shouldn't be spending like 20 hours, right? In total for those 20 students outside of like their class. Maybe like 30 minutes. Okay, that's fine. Um, so evaluate your workflow. So if you're managing a lot of students, then trust me, Zoom documents and the transcription could save you hours. And then also
Yeah.
consider your budget too. So if you want to use Google's Duet AI, that's like an add-on for $30. Whereas Zoom's AI, it's included in the paid plans.
Yeah. And remember, that's $30 a month, right?
Yeah,
For
it's
Google.
$30 per
Yeah, not
month.
just, which adds up
And like
for what it does.
the standard Zoom plan is like roughly about $130 a year.
Mhm.
So consider,
It
definitely
did go
consider that.
up. I think it went up to 160.
Or 160. Let
It's 160
me
now.
double
Last time I got a bill, I think it said 160. I barely pay attention to it because I'm like, I know it's usually
auto
around
pay.
that. Yeah, I just auto pay.
Well, I mean, we're filming this in November, so there will be a Black Friday sale.
Yes, if you are not already on it. For those of us that are on it, just know they'll be like, oh, I could just cancel it. No, that's not how it works.
So
How
for
Black Friday sales work.
Pro, it's $16
A month.
a month if you get billed.
If you pay a year up front, right?
No, it's
Oh, no, that's
$13.32
for the
per
thing.
month if you pay the year. So and that's without
Okay.
the discount. So that's, yeah, you are correct. 160 is 159.90.
Yeah. What did it do? Your Zoom Pro plan.
And then
What?
for cloud
Oh, that was
storage,
my old
that's
one.
an additional $10 a month. And for large meetings, so say you have like 1,000 people, or
Mm-hmm.
rather 500 people, there's for extra, what's that word? To increase the meeting capacity up to 1,000,
Mm-hmm.
it's like an extra 50. In that case, you should probably just get
Yeah.
the high tier plan, anyways.
And if you have that many people, then please contact us and let us know how you did it because we need your help.
Goals,
Not the other way around.
goals.
Yeah.
We are new and we're starting a company called Our Song Studios, which, guys, this will be actually the first official video on there, but please, hold on, please hold.
Hold the phone.
Yeah, hold the phone, please.
It's a Scooby-Doo reference, sort of.
Was that originally from Scooby-Doo?
Well, no, but Fred would always say, hold the phone. That was his tagline, was
Oh.
hold the phone.
I never knew where it came from. But please,
But I don't think that's where
subscribe
it
to our
came from.
YouTube channel. I am in the process of scheduling videos that will start in January about implementing AI in education and in business. So please, 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 please subscribe.
Yes.
Help us please help us hit those goals, those basic YouTube goals of like 500 subscribers, hitting the 3,000 public hours, which was originally 4,000, now it's down to 3,000, which thank you, YouTube. Yeah. Okay, so that will.
Oh, is it down to 3,000? Because last time I checked, it was still 4,000 for like, mine
I
still said 4,000.
saw it this morning and it said 3,000.
Oh.
So
Well, that would be good.
YouTube
Not
has been
that
doing a lot of
that's-
changes as of late.
Yeah.
so.
I really don't even understand why there's a requirement anyway. Everybody should get paid no matter what because they make money.
Business.
But
But they
I
are
know,
doing this
I
thing of
know.
promoting more like smaller YouTubers. So like in your
Yeah.
dashboard, you will encounter like a YouTube channel that's based on your interest that may have like was like a month ago but only has like 4 views. So they're really trying to push.
Oh, I
There-
know what it is. I know what it is. Sorry. Go ahead. Keep going.
So it's not
Yeah,
really
what
based on the algorithm so much as like that person's interest.
Mm-hmm.
So which is
Well,
which is
I
good.
think, I mean, unless they change it, I'll look again because they might have changed it because the 3,000 was so that you could have paid subscribers. And then the
Oh,
4,000 was
maybe,
for them to pay you still.
maybe.
It's still there.
I don't know. I got it.
Something like that. It doesn't matter. Once you reach 3,000, I mean, 4,000 is like nothing at that point. But because
So hold on for
it's
earning.
very hard to reach that level.
Oh, eligibility, having 500 subscribers, have
Yeah,
these
that's
the
that lower
YouTubers
one.
and
That's
one of the
yeah.
following either have 3 million views on public short views or have 3,000 public watch hours.
That's just,
I'll
and that's for the full thing for them to pay you now.
Yeah.
And that's a total complete change
Well,
because
it's like
yeah,
it's one of the following. Either you get 3 million views on short views or
because that was 10
3,000
million.
public watch hours.
Huh. That's interesting.
And then you have to have at least 3 video uploads and 500 subscribers.
Only 500?
Yeah.
Hmm. Uh, I believe you. It's just like that's such a huge change that I'm like surprised that Google would do that. Like,
It's to help especially for businesses
but they're
that,
Google. They don't give a crap about little businesses.
hey, you
I'm
know
being
what? If
blunt.
they're going to the ethics and morals, we should
I know.
thank them, rather than
Yeah.
looking at a profit level.
Yeah.
Ethical
Very cool.
entrepreneur.
Although their website now, I'm looking on their website. It still says 4,000
Mm.
and 4,000 or 10 million.
Well, right now I'm looking at the YouTube studio.
Where?
So,
Let me see. Okay.
yeah, well,
YouTube Studio.
I'll do more
It
research,
doesn't
but
matter.
yeah, but that's,
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I'm already monetized, so I don't know if I can even see it. So on mine.
well, it's for our song studios for
Yeah. Oh, I know. Yeah, it's true. I wonder that would be great if it has lowered. That would be awesome because I
yeah,
mean,
for
500
existing, I
people
think
is so
it's
much easier to get at.
still,
As I know, they used to have two different like tiers, and they had a 3,000 and a 4,000 tier. That was like their weird like tier system that they did.
yeah. So like for my channel, for Rosita Ruiz official, it's 4,000. So I think it depends if you have multiple channels too. I'll read through the policies.
Yeah, let's see what it
The YouTube
says.
channels, the monetization policies, but for our song studios, it's 3,000. So help.
Yeah, or whatever it is, just help us anyway, because it doesn't really matter what it is.
And you guys can find us on Twitch. You guys can find us on LinkedIn, Facebook. I will be working on a Facebook page for our song
Yeah,
studios. So, yep. All right, guys. Thank you so
yeah,
much for watching. If you guys have any questions, please let us know. If you have any comments in regards to your preference for Google, the AI in Google or Zoom, or just if you prefer Google or Zoom when it comes to online education, please let us know.
yeah.
All right. Take care.